Well, we got some new mods to the first gen Tacoma here, guys. Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard here on the Humble Hotshot channel with another video about this 2004 Toyota Tacoma. You guys have seen this truck on the channel a couple times and did a couple modifications to this truck, including some new nice aux beam lighting. So I'm going to show you guys all that, the bumper, the wiring, the lights, a couple kind of secret mods we did to make that all work, right after a word of scripture, of course. So today I've got John chapter 8 verse 12, in which Jesus says, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." So just a word of encouragement to you guys that if you put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ and walk according to his ways, you will have the light of life. You will have that knowledge of the truth about sin and judgment and the afterlife and eternal life through Jesus Christ. So thanks for listening to that, guys. Now I'll get right into the modifications on this 2004 Toyota Tacoma. You guys know I love these first gen tacos. 2004 is the last year of the first gen, and my goal with this one was to keep it looking relatively stock and just kind of go for that OEM plus look. So as you can see, we did change out the front bumper, and we also changed the suspension since you guys last saw this on the channel, I believe. So pretty mild lift, about a 2.5 inch lift in the front, maybe 3 to 3.5 in the rear. And we did that using some Old Man Emu struts, spring and strut assemblies in the front. Those are assembled by ToyTec here in Colorado. So got the 881 or 882 springs on the OME struts. And that's all we did in the front for now. Stock upper control arms, everything factory, aside from those strut assemblies, which is totally fine for the amount of lift and the size tire we want to run for now. So that's the front. And in the back, we went with some All-Pro Expedition leaf packs. So there's the number, All-Pro complete leaf pack replacement with the Expedition, which supposed to carry a little more weight, as well as some Bilstein shocks back there. So that's what we're working with for the lift. Really can't lift these trucks too much, especially in the front. You can't lift these too much with the factory independent front suspension before you run into some CV axle bind and problems with the upper control arms and just alignment issues. So not saying you can't go bigger with these. Did that with my previous Tacoma, was running 35s, but for now, just to keep good road manners and to accomplish what we're going for now, 2.5 in the front, 3.5, probably 3.5 when unloaded in the back. And then what I like is when this thing's fully loaded down with camping gear, canoe, hunting stuff, whatever you want to put in the back, it still sits level with this suspension setup. So as far as tires, we put on kind of a unique size, but these are a 255 85/16. Went with the Cooper Discover ST Max. Might get you a better look at the number because, like I said, this is kind of a unique size tire. It's a 255, so if you guys know, the first number indicates the tread width in millimeters. So 255 is pretty narrow, but 85 represents the percentage of the first number. So first number, millimeter in width, 255 millimeters. Second number means 85% of that first number in sidewall height, I guess you'd say. So 255 85/16, which is what I like to run on this truck, just because you could fit them on the factory wheels, and they're basically like a tall, skinny 33, just about a 33-inch tall, and they just handle good. You start putting really wide tires on these, and you know, every crack and crevice in the road, it really wants to pull on you. So I think these work really well for this kind of mild lift and build and what we're going for. So there's a look from the front. Tall, skinny tire, which, you know, I think a tall, skinny does great in a lot of conditions. A lot of times, rock crawling, you know, yeah, you want that big, wide contact patch. But if you want to weave between obstacles and fit between certain cracks, it's amazing how much that much narrower tire will let you pick different lines and weave through there. You know, on straight slick rock, when you just want a big, wide contact patch, wider tire will help you, as well as in the sand, really soft sand like out in the dunes. A wide tire gives you more flotation and keeps you up above that sand. But kind of rock crawling we got here in Colorado, as well as mud. You know, you can see it's been a little wet this year. A skinny tire in the mud actually works better, I think, because you're not plowing that big wide track as you're sinking into the mud. You're kind of cutting through a little better. Not to mention snow and ice. Skinny tire definitely does better. You don't want to be floating on the top and sliding all around. You kind of want to cut through more like an ice tire. So anyway, that's the lift and the tires I went with, keeping them on the factory wheels. Love them or hate them. I was going for that OEM look, and that's what we got so far. So that brings me to the front. We did replace the front bumper. Obviously, this is a trail gear, pretty simple, but trail gear tubular steel front bumper. Offers some good protection, and just kind of sleek and lightweight, you know, without putting a super heavy spring or a lot of lift in the front of this truck. I try to keep as much weight off the front as possible. Obviously a front engine, rear wheel drive, it's already heavier in the front, so I didn't want to add a huge winch bumper or anything with big hoops, and you know, something might offer more protection. But I was really looking to keep weight off the front end of this truck. So that's one thing. As you can see, this is a winch bumper. It's got the cutout for a fair lead here and a winch plate right there, but I opted not to put a permanently mounted winch in there. What I do instead is use the receiver. Got a front receiver on this bumper and a nice Anderson plug, because I have a winch in the back of the truck stored in the bed on a receiver skid. So it's on a receiver plate. I could slide it in either front or rear and just go ahead and plug it in, since we got an Anderson connector back here as well. So that's the way I like to do it. I mean, when you really get in a bind, if you're stuck in a mud hole, it's a little more of a pain. You got to dig the winch out of the back of the truck. But, you know, there's pluses and minuses of both. Of course, having a winch on the front bumper, permanently mounted, ready to go, is great at certain times. But I like having it secure, locked up in the back of the truck. Keeps the winch nice and clean. All the electronics and everything are out of the weather. And then you could put it front or rear and only have one winch. So, like I said, there's pluses and minuses to both, but I kind of like that setup. It works well for me, and I could also swap that winch, just grab the box out of the back and put it in my other truck in the full-size rig as well. So that brings me to the lighting. Big shout out to the folks at Auxbeam. Hooked us up with some lighting that I'm pretty impressed with, gotta say. These are the Auxbeam 3-inch X Pro series, and like I said, I'm really impressed with, yeah, the light output of these, but also just the quality of construction and the completeness of the kit. I'm really impressed with, because, you know, you can get some really cheap LEDs nowadays. They've hit the scene, and just so many people make off-road LED lights, and they probably put out some good light, and you could pick them up really cheap from that Jungle website or somewhere else, but you'll notice different quality. So what I really like about these, and was just impressed with, was the completeness of the kit. These came with, these are two sets they sent me, so each kit would come with 2 sets of these 3-inch lights, and what I wanted was two white and 2 amber. And what's really cool is that these Auxbeam lights come with these amber covers for all of them, so I could have them all amber, all white, whatever the conditions demand. So that's pretty neat. And also, like I said, the completeness of the kit. These came with the lights, the wiring harness, the switch, the relay, everything included. This was some additional wiring to hook up a DRL feature, so you could actually have a low voltage feature on these for daytime running lamps. I opted not to hook that up, just didn't think I needed it, but maybe we'll do that in the future if you guys are interested. But again, super complete kit. They come with the light themselves, the amber covers. They also have these black covers. Haven't used these yet, but if you're just out on the highway avoiding rock chips and stuff like that, you could cover them up completely. And then, like I said, the wiring harness, the relay, and the switch mounted inside the cab. So really complete, all weather pack connectors. So really high quality stuff that, You know, you won't find, you could buy some cheap LED lights anywhere and they might work okay. Sure, I've used them in the past myself, but you'll have to figure out your own wiring, waterproof it really well, buy a switch, relay, and all that other stuff. So really impressed with these, and they're also quite affordable. So big shout out to Auxbeam, really liking that stuff. This is my first time using them, and like I said, I've used a variety of different LEDs in the past, and I am really impressed with this stuff. So if you're interested, that's what we're rocking, 2 sets of these X Pro 3-inch lights, and again, they came with 2 sets of covers and the complete kit to hook them up. So with that said, I'll go ahead and fire them up, and it's getting dark enough now to show you guys what they look like. All right, I know I'm just gonna blind you guys if I go head on here, but I want to give you a look at these Auxbeam lights all fired up. So 2 of them with the amber lenses on, 2 running just white right now, and extremely bright. I don't know the lumen count, but they're extremely bright. I was using them out on some desolate roads last week, and just middle of the night, no traffic, and it was amazing the way they lighted up. So it's probably dark enough now you could see just how they're hitting those trees in front of us, and just really nice broad lighting. And yeah, if you've used LEDs in the past, you know how good they can be, but the clarity and quality of these Auxbeams is really pretty awesome if you ask me. All right, went ahead and flicked those Auxbeams off so I'm not melting my eyeballs out, but flicked on these lower lights. I did want to show you guys with this particular Trail Gear front bumper. It's super stout the way it mounts to the frame. It comes with this separate piece that it's basically like a front cross member, ties the frame rails together, and then you bolt the bumper onto that. But one thing I didn't like is that it left these voids in the front of the frame rails where you could just get, you know, winter road debris and stuff into your frame rail. So I didn't like that. So I actually sealed them up with a couple of these lesser quality LEDs that I just had kicking around that fit perfectly in that slot. And I will say those are not Auxbeams, those orange ones, but what's nice is that they're mounted nice and low, and they are far less bright. So I don't know the lumen count again, but lesser quality, but mounted down low and not nearly as bright. I could run those as fog lights, and they're actually working really well. So with the off-road lights up top on the bumper and those filling in the gaps where the frame rail entry would be, worked out pretty well. All right, and last thing I want to mention, guys, is if you are installing an aftermarket front bumper on one of these first-gen Tacomas, more than likely you're going to lose your front turn signals. So factory bumper comes from here clear down about flush with the bottom of that cross member, and your front turn signal would mount about here. Now, guys will just take the factory ones out, maybe zip tie them or do something up here, and that will work. Or you could add a separate light. You could wire up an LED, but then you run into the issue of, even if you just change 2 of them and run front LEDs for your turn signals, it changes the resistance in the turn signal circuit. So more than likely, you're going to wind up with a hyperblink issue. Hyperblink is when your turn signals flash faster than they're supposed to. So pretty annoying listening to that click, click, click inside, and probably annoying for others around you when you're turning. So to avoid that, I actually maintained the factory bulb, removed the factory turn signal bulb from what was the turn signal and relocated it up to the parking lamp. So I might turn these off so you guys can see better, but if you look, we maintained the parking lamp bulb, the smaller bulb that sits up here, and then added that turn signal bulb, drilled a hole and mounted it up through this parking lamp. So all that does is relocate our front turn signals to that park lamp, and I'll go ahead and click them on so you guys can see, but worked out really well. Still plenty visible from the front and the side. Actually better, more visible, I'd say, than the factory lights, just because they're up higher and you can see them from the side. So that's how we handled that. There's a variety of options. You can put in LED turn signals somewhere and then wire in resistors to add resistance and slow down and fix that hyperblink. Or you can also find, it's a little tricky to find the right one, but you can find the correct flasher module, flasher relay for your turn signals that will slow that down and cure the hyperblink. But that's the way we did it for now. Worked out really well. Those are blinking away up in the parking lamp assembly, and we did maintain the factory parking lamp feature as well, which is nice. So all the lights work as factory, with the addition of that aux beam lighting. Big shout out to those guys. Thanks for sending those 2 kits of lights. They work really well. I would absolutely recommend them. Kit, like I said, is super complete, super quality, and I'll keep you guys posted. We just installed these not long ago, took them on a few outings, but they've been working great so far, and we'll keep you posted on that. So thanks for listening, guys. Hope that helps you if you're interested in some aftermarket lighting or some mods or just first-gen Tacoma content in general. So hope that helps you guys. Thanks for watching, and remember that Jesus Christ is the light of life. So if you want to walk with truth and knowledge and just the assurance of salvation, put your trust and faith and hope in Jesus Christ, and he'll never let you down. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. A lot more automotive content coming, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.